do.
Should we edit these, the actual recorded versions, to say that it's live? The way MJ's been editing it, he's been like just making it a normal episode, but letting people know that are actually watching the show, like, oh, this was recorded and broadcast live.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Value in it and all.
That'd be cool.
We took the risk.
I mean, I don't think it really helps to say, like, yeah, it's weird when it was like, hey, we're live, and then when it's not. So, like, if it's okay to advertise saying, like, you can listen to this live if you want to, but yeah, I would edit out all the, like, live stuff. Otherwise, it's
Make it more professional and clean.
just keep it the same.
All right. Silence. 30 seconds of silence starting now.
Thought about it. Like, yeah, we said that. I'm like, shit. Now it doesn't look straight. And you're looking at an angle, so it's
Super tilted. MJ can clean that out, right? Like, straighten up correction.
What part doesn't look straight?
looks like the right side is lower than the right side. So maybe the leg can be, maybe the left leg can be reduced.
Left leg.
That one, yeah, the one in your hand. That one. Maybe bring that down a little bit, might compensate for it. I don't know. No. Let's look back now. How are you doing?
Behind in work, trying to get shit figured out.
Pretty flat out. When do you leave?
Friday morning. So I gotta get a bunch of stuff done before that, and yeah, get things set up. So there's a lot of things I do before we leave.
What's your first leg?
Go to Boston.
Boston. What for?
Family niece is graduating, so there'll be some like weekend, just like Saturday, Sunday, and fly out Monday.
That's the check.
Okay, you guys ready to start?
Yeah.
Yeah, ready to go.
Are people live listening? See, this is we're trying to get the chit chatting out of the way, so it's not in the actual
Good.
episode.
All right.
So you want chit chatting, go live. If you don't want the chit chat, go right to the episode instead. Just wait a week. It takes us a week to publish and get this stuff out.
Nice.
All right. 30 seconds of silence again. Take 2.
I don't think we need 30 seconds.
No, let's go into it. You got this. Go.
All right. Welcome to the Live Fully with Kratom podcast. I'm ETHA co-founder Alexander, and today with me is fellow co-founder Victor. Good morning.
Good morning.
And we also have our producer Nicole, who will be asking us a bunch of Ask the Founders questions.
Try to stump us. Stump
Absolutely.
you, really.
Well, yeah. All right. Well, let's get started.
Okay. Hey, this time I actually read through the questions and
Good.
added some notes. So
I think that's cheating.
is that cheating? It should be one of us reads through, one of us doesn't. Yeah. All right. Okay, not it. You can always have to read it. You're better at answering it anyway.
I'll try. It's fine. I'll make it up.
Yeah. All right. Do we want to go into some industry updates before we get into these questions? So yeah, this is once a month we want to do an episode devoted to just answering all the questions that come in, as many of the questions as we can that come in that aren't inappropriate. So sometimes we get some weird ones out there. So we will get through those questions. There's a lot of them, but before that, we could do some
industry update. Louisiana is a pretty big, important
Oh, yeah.
update, considering they're trying to criminalize Kratom. utilizing old information or ignoring actual research and information, just trying to ban kratom, make it a scheduled substance, even though the DEA rejected that, the United Nations rejected making kratom a scheduled substance, the World Health Organization rejected it. I mean, this is after months of review, and so it's unfortunate when we have states that are misinformed and not listening to actual researchers and scientists that have been studying kratom for decades now. And so unfortunately now, American Kratom Association is asking for anyone and everyone to call the governor of Louisiana so we can hopefully get a veto and instead replace it with a Kratom Consumer Protection Act.
Which is common sense regulation.
Yes.
For the industry, that's what we want.
I mean,
not just an outright ban.
Yes, and bans don't actually do what we want them to do. We've seen prohibition has never worked in the favor of protecting the benefit of the public. And so it's foolish to think that banning kratom in Louisiana will do anything but cause more harm. So hopefully we can get enough people call the governor and hopefully it will have a little more sense to replace it with the Kratom Consumer Protection Act.
Man, I can't believe we're down to a governor's veto. That's insanity.
Yep.
Yeah, so Governor Jeff Landry, if you're listening to this, I hope you are. Please, 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 please veto the bill. It makes no sense.
Cool.
All right, and it's not like we don't have an alternative option.
Yeah, we know for sure, yeah.
Okay. On the good side though, Texas. So all
Yeah,
the
I mean, having kratom consumers, having constituents, having the public call representatives, it works. It actually works. Yeah, hopefully people get that message and we can get the word out in Louisiana because Texas, it worked well, right?
Yeah. So a similar ban was proposed in Texas, and we were all obviously very concerned. And you guys all called in and did your part. We did our part, and now it's dead in the water.
Good.
So no ban. Woo. Okay.
All
right. I did want to talk about maybe next time. That's good enough for now. We had some other updates I want to talk about. Maybe when you get back from your trip to Czech Republic at the symposium, the Kratom Symposium, we'll have some really great updates. I know we've been really focused on regulation and legislation, but it's critical. These are outright full bans in states that will set horrible precedents. So we just need to talk about it. So I'm sorry, it feels like the last 2 months that's all we've been talking about, but it's a hot topic.
It's been a weird uptick in a lot of misinformation and bans coming from local municipalities. So it's unfortunate, but it's kind of it's what we deal with in Kratom, trying to keep educating, keep promoting the science, the research. So
it's like, we're like 2016 or something, 2017. I get it.
10 years ago. I
know. 10 years ago, I'd be fine with it. But there's so much research that has happened, and so many more people that have used Kratom.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, it's right. It's like I understand not understanding or knowing because, yes, back in 10 years ago, it was very unknown. It was kind of like you had to really search for Kratom to find the information, to look at the research, and dig for it. Now it's been out in the public for so long. It's been a pretty hot topic. It's been out there, and so now you kind of have to willfully try to ignore science to try to claim these positions, which is what's happening. People are actively. I mean, Rick Perry in Texas knew that Kratom was a benefit, but there was kind of a little bit of confusion and kind of some of this potential infighting in the industry, some of the 708 issues that some people are taking advantage of. And so instead of the legislators doing the hard work, it was, well, let's just ban everything because I don't want to figure it out. Like legislators need to do their job. Like it's hard. Governing people is very, very hard. But you can't just give up and try to ban something because it's an easy way out. Like, it's not acceptable.
You signed up for this.
Yeah. This is what
we voted for you.
This
is what you're supposed to do.
It's supposed to look at this information.
I don't have the time.
Choices.
Yeah, that's why you're representing my interests. Like,
So I think we have to keep holding legislators accountable to what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, so we have to do our part to let them know what is important to us and our position, and that's what we're asking all you guys to do. Even if you're not from Louisiana, please call in. We'll send links. We'll put links. We always do if you're part of our subscription in our newsletter. We've been featuring it pretty regularly on every email that goes out. Links to the American Kratom Association, links directly to where you can get contacts for your representatives. to reach out directly. I think this time we have a link to the governor's office, so
Good.
you can let Governor
Phone
Jeff Landry.
calls are coming.
Yeah, phone calls are coming. Get ready. Yeah, let's go. Okay. All right.
On to some questions.
Questions. And we have time at the end. We'll do a health talk, non-kratom. Okay. Where do we begin? Do we want to start with the box ones or the red ones?
Do you have a preference? I was just gonna go top down.
Have you read through them all?
Nope.
No? Oh, this is so roles are reversed. Okay. Okay, so let's just start from the top. So
Okay.
in no particular order.
First question. If Kratom were illegal tomorrow, what would we do as a company?
Ooh, okay. Why don't you, since we're just doing that and Alex didn't add notes, let's just scroll to my answers. At least I'll have my notes. I could cheat a little bit. You want to go at it? So I said, for me, it was, if it was illegal. So first I was thinking about the company.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no more Kratom. Then I would say we would pivot to a different botanical because we do already sell products with different botanicals, non-Kratom. So we sell a kava mints that we love. We do Tonkat Ali, our revitalized tablets and powders, and those are amazing too. So, maybe we do some pivoting to similar botanicals that we already make, or would add and introduce some new botanicals.
Mm.
Then I went into my own personal, I would start freaking out. I'm like, oh no, where do I rely on Kratom to survive and thrive.
Mm-hmm.
So I would stockpile.
Yeah, I mean, if it was illegal in the United States,
Yeah, I
that's
guess.
the question. I mean,
didn't-
like,
didn't
there's so many
specify.
out here, right? Yeah, it's like, I don't know, I'd probably move,
Mhm.
because yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, there would be, I think, more significant changes than just, yeah. And then moving on to another botanical, that's kind of maybe, but probably
It's tough.
not. I mean, there's
It's
not
tough.
enough for me to be excited about. I mean, kava's been around for a while, Tonkat is great, but it's
Mhm.
not. I mean, there's a reason Kratom is a lifesaver, like literally for me personally, right? For us, so it's kind of, there's a reason we started a
Hard to
Kratom
replace.
company. Yeah, it's not just like, okay, yeah, like, there's not a simple replacement. Like, I've
No.
tried a lot of other things, it's not there. So it's,
We still try things. Even though we take Kratom, it doesn't mean that we aren't exploring other botanicals.
I mean, which is the same reason that, that I take time to go to Washington DC, take time to go to a municipality a few hours away, or
Or
drive
fly to Czech Republic.
Czech Republic and give
next week.
testimony. Yeah, because it's like, it's not, we don't gain money from it. There's not like a benefit other than like
No,
using my
it's
time.
just
So
cost.
there's a reason, that we protect it so vigorously. There's a reason
Yeah.
that people are so passionate about Kratom, is because it's not a simple replacement. There's not anything else like it that can be
Yeah.
replaced. So, yeah, there'd be a lot of changes. Stockpiling Kratom, that's probably what a lot of people would do. If Kratom was made illegal, millions of people would stockpile and probably keep a personal supply somewhere, because that's what happens. Like, there's
Mhm.
it's not just a simple, no big deal, I'll just like replace it with something else.
Yeah.
It's-
I want to go back
it's
to
a
life of chronic pain.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sure, that's fine.
No. Yeah, remember, didn't we do the math of this early on?
Mhm.
How much would it take for a life? What is a lifetime supply, or like 30 years, or whatever we used? So doing that. It wasn't that much actually.
No,
right?
it'd be like a half a pallet or 500 kilograms or something reasonable. Like, okay, well, I can store that
Yeah,
somewhere.
throw it in my garage. It's fine.
Yeah, so it's very doable.
Yeah, I put this one. I thought this one might be for you. Focus energy on other businesses, because
Mhm.
you have
100%.
other
Yeah,
businesses
absolutely.
that require your attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was thinking, you
Yeah,
hyper ops
there's a
would get
lot.
with
Yeah.
Alexander.
There's a lot of,
100%.
there's a lot of time, a lot of value to add to the world, a lot of challenges to take on, and so
Mhm.
there's that level of roadblock, then like I said, maybe move somewhere else where it's not an issue. I can still get what I needed personally, but then maybe focus on a different business.
Mhm. Yeah, so thankfully, if people contact Louisiana, we don't have to worry about this. Okay, next one.
Does Kratom have enough scientific backing to prove that it works?
Yeah, the answer is
Yeah, I mean, I've
1,000,000%.
seen a lot more research on Kratom than most other pharmaceuticals. I mean, compared to other natural medicines, I mean, I know like I went through CBD and THC because it's supposed to be good for pain. And I mean, the research I see on CBD is an example, something like 30% of respondents get relief from pain, where Kratom, there's something like 95+% of people respond getting relief from pain. So there's a much bigger signal in what I see from the data that, yeah, Kratom actually works. And it's like, and that's kind of what I go based on now is, okay, when I see reports or even clinical research of, oh, this increased, sleep. I was looking at some peptide research and it was like, oh, this increased like people's survey response, increase of 4% of better quality of sleep, or like a 14% like they were rested better. I was like, that's almost nothing. Like I want to see 90+%.
Exactly.
Kratom. So like when I see Kratom, oh yeah, it works for me when I've done like personal experimentation. Then I see the research of 90+% of people report the same benefits. Oh, and then it correlates to, here's the animal studies that also correlate to 90+% of, there's that kind of level of confidence is, okay, yeah, that works. When I see little increases of, a 30% increase over baseline, it's like, well, then when you look at the data, it's, okay, yeah, there's maybe 10% of people found that was helpful, and then there was 13% of people found that it was helpful with this other product, and that's now a 30% increase. It's like, well, not really. It was a 3% increase of the population overall. Yes, it was a 30% increase in the ones that saw a benefit, but that's kind of massaging the data.
It's mixing in
more,
several different cohorts, and usually excluding
yes.
folks that are dissenters of, and they come up with a reason to exclude them. Yeah. And when you get into the details, it's like,
Or there's a lot of research on medical, say therapies, and it's like, oh, well, this one showed that it worked, and then this one showed that it was kind of inconclusive. And this one showed that this other one showed it worked too. And you kind of get these mixed signals. With Kratom, all the research is showing, I don't know, this works. It's just like,
to what degree, and in what way, is it safe, at what dose? Those are the kind of questions we're trying to answer now.
Or it's
not whether or not it works.
No.
It works, okay.
Or it's trying to figure out, hey, this works with Kratom as like a Kratom freeze-dried tea, like all the alkaloids, this works. Okay, well, now if we compare it to just one alkaloid, is that alkaloid responsible? Sometimes okay, yes, that mitragynine is responsible for the overall effect that we see with the plant, but it's like trying to see what part of the alkaloids work that the plant works. But every time I see the research, it's Kratom works, and it's for amazing different.
Now we want to know why.
Yeah, exactly. What is the alkaloid that's mostly responsible, or what dose of alkaloid is most optimal? Very different than just doesn't work at all.
Yeah, we're way beyond that, guys. 2016, fine. Even then, there was some good research out there, at least animal studies. Now it's definitive. So yeah. Answer is hell yeah. Which is yes. Okay.
And for anybody on live, if you guys have questions, this is an Ask the Founders episode. So any Kratom related questions, just shoot them out in the chat. Okay, next question.
Or any questions.
How does
you don't have to answer them.
How does Kratom affect gut health and digestion?
Oh yeah, this one comes up often. I just wanted to share my own personal thoughts on it. I have a pretty sensitive gut. Whenever I think a lot of people experience this when I take vitamins on an empty stomach, I get messed up pretty. But I get not only just cramps and stomach aches, I'm out for a bit. Like, it's like an hour or two where I just don't want to do anything.
Like a general multivitamin.
Just a basic
those are pretty harsh.
Yeah.
I would say probably because they're just inexpensive ingredients normally. Like a simple multivitamin has a lot of minerals.
I'm not using the cheap stuff.
It doesn't matter. I don't.
Yeah. No. I think I'm using the CVS generic brand.
Yeah.
So, all right, fine. I will.
But I mean that's the hard part about vitamins in general is that yes, your body needs micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, but it's hard to get quality ingredients or what is exactly needed.
How do you know if it's quality? Right? I can't even.
It's hard. It's really hard.
I'm hoping, if I pay twice as much, it's got to be twice as good, right?
And that's kind of that is the shortcut, right? That's the general shortcut that we have to try to make as humans is, if it costs more, it must be better. It's kind of like a quick judgment call, but sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not. It's hard to know. It's really hard to know.
Yeah, so I bring it up because even like 2 weeks ago, we tried molecular hydrogen tabs to put into water.
Yeah, so that upset your stomach.
It's a pretty benign element and somehow, it's just,
But I wonder if it is that mineral, because like that hydrogen tablet does seem to have some kind of metallic taste to it. There's something, like, however it's releasing the hydrogen is definitely like some kind of metal or mineral, something that's very noticeable. So I wonder if that's the similar effect in the multivitamins that you're getting.
I didn't like it, but when it comes to Kratom.
So you have a super sensitive stomach. Vitamins kind of upset you, but Kratom is not the case.
I take Kratom on empty stomach all the time. Food, no food, different doses, different formats, different strains, different alkaloid profiles. No issues whatsoever. And so it's the only thing that and Tomcat Ali. Those are the two things I can take with confidence any time of the day on any type of condition and be fine.
Yeah.
So
you've also been doing it for a number of years. So
that's true. You brought this up at last week.
Yeah, I mean that's the hard part. I think about
tolerance.
Anything humans do or any animal, plant, like we all adapt to our environment. And so I wonder how much, because I hear. I mean, sometimes new people coming into Kratom, it can make them a little nauseous, depending if they're sensitive to certain things. So like they'll kind of take Kratom with food. I have certain friends that must take it with food, but maybe that's just because they haven't taken Kratom regularly, and that could kind of adjust over time.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of, and I say that because there's a lot of research showing that humans, we get a lot of our immune system capability from eating a variety of plants. So I know this was like a long time ago, even. I think plants produce essentially compounds to help fight off naturally for them, insects that would eat them, other kind of fungal, and other kind of pathogens that would attack the plant. The plant produces natural lecithins or antibodies in its own sense to kind of help survive. And humans, once we eat that plant, then we kind of have that molecule now available for our own immune system to help fight off virus or other infections. So I wonder if that's just kind of being adapted to it, and then, because I know since I've been taking Kratom, it seems like I'm a lot less sick, a lot less frequently throughout the years.
You're also never focused on your health this much since starting this company. My God, right?
Yeah. I mean, very fortunate to be able to focus on health as kind of part of the requirements of the job, right? Kind of having to. But so yeah, I don't know. I mean, Kratom definitely helps, but then there's also fortunate enough to get sunlight, go to the gym, go to the sauna, do a lot of nutrition, eating.
I'm literally taking
healthy.
like 4 different mushrooms right now with this Kratom tea and all kinds of things.
I do know too that some people take Kratom for like irritable bowel syndrome. I mean, that is a common. So one of the effects or side effects of an opioid or opioid-like compound is actually like anti-diarrheal. So kind of Imodium AD is actually an opioid agonist. So that's kind of one of those. Like two parts to it, right? Is that just because somebody interacts with an opioid receptor doesn't mean that it's addictive or has all these negative properties. Because Imodium AD is technically an opioid, but it has that anti-diarrheal, over-the-counter. No one really thinks about that being a problem. So similar to Kratom, it interacts with opioid receptors, but it doesn't cause the abuse, doesn't cause the respiratory depression liability, and it can have kind of some of that calming effect for the digestive system, because we do have a lot of opioid receptors throughout our system. Kratom is a nice, actual, very high fiber, right? You're kind of just introducing fiber into your diet, so there's some of that benefit.
I don't know if any study that specifically looked at this question though, right? Do you know of any?
I mean, I haven't
just kind of based on like adjacent things that
Correct,
are similar
or
own personal experience and
a
hearing
lot of
from
survey
others,
results, a lot of kind of people, just anecdotal evidence. I've not seen direct
I don't think so.
Studies, other than, I mean, the only human trial we've seen is the FDA single ascending dose study, which there was a placebo-controlled study of people taking Kratom and then taking a placebo kind of plant-controlled version that was non-Kratom. And even at a high dose of 12 grams, the only adverse event was kind of nausea and vomiting at that level. So it is kind of similar to the placebo. So it wasn't anything, say, unique to the Kratom side that caused a lot of upset in the intestinal system.
Yeah. All right. Next question.
How much Kratom should I take
Did you skip some?
I did. I think it's this is better for my health.
Good. Yes. See, just do
Make
it
a call.
yourself.
Sure. Answer whatever you want. Sorry, one more time. Sorry to interrupt you.
How much kratom should I take as a beginner, and how do I take your product?
Yeah, on average, most people consume 1 to 5 grams of typical kratom leaf powder.
Like whole leaf powder.
And it's variable based on, okay, what benefit am I looking for? How does my body react to kratom in itself? Because we all metabolize food and compounds differently. So 1 to 5 grams, and just starting low, starting a small amount, and then waiting 15-20 minutes to see how you feel, and then add in another like half gram and keep increasing that dosage until I get the effects I want. Like my pain goes away, or I kind of feel a little bit better, and
Energy back up.
and then I can and then I kind of note that total amount that I've taken, and that becomes like my personal starting dose. So for me, about 2.5 grams is kind of what I found works really well. And that's about 8 tablets. So kind of same, way to start with ETHA would be just to take, 2 tablets or 4 tablets, kind of start, see how that makes you feel, wait a little bit, and keep increasing another 2 tablets.
2 tablets, yeah,
And then
keep on your dose. Yeah, it's a titration process, typical process. Thankfully, kratom is so fast acting that you'll know if it's the right amount within 30 minutes at most, less than an hour. It's amazing. When I tell people, it's like, what? Especially in this world of supplements and botanicals.
That's where kratom is amazing, because it starts acting within 15-20 minutes. It's not like, oh, take this and you'll maybe experience some inflammation, pain reduction in 2 weeks. Like, no, it's immediate.
Yeah,
That's what it is. And that also for us, that's why it goes back to that research side, where it's like all the research of pharmacokinetic activity, how kratom works is very apparent, very real, very quick. It's not like we're trying to say, take lion's mane and you may have less cognitive impairment 20 years from now. Like, well, how do you measure that? There's so much complication.
Yeah.
Kratom is so immediate, it's very easy to test, or there's some kind of...
Are you actually doing anything good?
I don't know.
I've been taking lion's mane for like 3-4 years now straight. I don't know. I hope so. Anyway.
Next question.
Next question.
What are some popular?
Oh, well, sorry. Before we jump into that,
Yeah.
What about non-whole leaf tablets? Like, there's a lot of products that are based off of mitragynine extracts, and they put down milligrams of mit.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, generally, I would say it seems around 10 milligrams is good for some people to start. Up to like 20 to maybe 40 is kind of, so that 1 to 5 grams then kind of correlates from 10 to 50 milligrams of mitragynine plus the other alkaloids. So that's where, if we have an extract that gives the milligrams of mitragynine, if it's the first time, I would start with that one at maybe like a 10 milligram, see how that feels, and then 20. For me personally, I like 40 milligrams is a pretty good amount, kind of a really good.
If it's pure mit, are you talking about our full spectrum?
Kind of both. I mean, whether it's like our kratom mints or our full spectrum, like peppermint bark mints are kind of the same, standardized to about 40 milligrams mitragynine, but one of those mints is a good amount for me.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, like just doing one kratom mint, especially when I'm about to go out or something. Oh man, especially on a long drive. I'll tell you, if I have to do a long drive, if I'm tired, I countless times where I've been saved thanks to our mints, or something like it, like our hazelnut smoothie shot.
Yep.
I'll take half a bottle of that, and then I'm just going, and I'm singing. The whole family's annoyed. I don't care because I'm driving, and it's great.
I mean, it's not like, because caffeine only works once in the morning, right? It kind of just like interacts with the adenosine receptors, stops your body from kind of interacting, kind of producing that slowdown, which is kind of just delays the reaction.
And
so once the caffeine is metabolized, then that adenosine gets flooded, and then you get like a crash. Where kratom, even if I'm in that crashed zone, already super tired, I take a little bit of our kratom mints or some of our elixir, and then it's just like, oh, I get that energy boost, I get focused, I can do anything, it doesn't matter. And I've done this when, like traveling, like some of the long travel, like trying to go to Thailand, where it takes like 72 hours, you're kind of just going from one airport to the next and flying all the way, literally halfway around the world. Even when I'm up for 24 hours straight, okay, like barely getting off the plane. It's like, well, I gotta make sure I find my connection flight. Like this is like, can't mess it up. And I'll take a little bit of our, mints, and it's just like, enough focus. I'm awake enough to like get through it. Yeah, it doesn't matter how tired I am. It can be really bad, and yet Kratom is a savior for that.
Yeah, but there's a price. I especially this last year, at a newborn, I've used Kratom to get through the day for like many days in a row, because you're just not sleeping, and it catches up. Eventually, you just crash, like you full crash.
Sleep is definitely
Gotta have the sleep, and like you couldn't wake me up. I was like dead in the water for 12 hours, just sleeping straight. And I sleep 5-6 hours. I never sleep more than 6 hours ever, and except for when I just push it too hard. I use our Kratom to just push it a little bit too hard, too long, and then your body goes, we kind of need to maybe rest. I don't know. Anyway, all right, and then that's good. So I think we covered the 2 typical use cases.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So 1 to 5 grams of whole leaf, and then 10 milligrams to 50 milligrams of extract. And you can find your personal dose within those ranges.
Yeah. 7-OH. I mean, we don't make a 7-OH product.
I would
but
only
I know
use
that
7-OH if you absolutely need it. If no other Kratom product works, and then
start as
still be
low
careful.
as possible. Just as low as possible. I'm seeing those numbers go astronomically high.
I mean, and that's the problem with 7-OH, is that tolerance builds up very quickly for people. And then, I mean, so even when I take extract, just Kratom extract, I like to add in whole leaf, or then switch back to whole leaf and kind of taper down to kind of reset some of that tolerance. 7-OH is a very fast tolerance. Within like the next day, it starts to stack up. So I like to add in mitragynine, just natural Kratom alkaloids, or I like to add in whole leaf with 7-OH as well. But definitely. Do you do it at the
same time, or do you just like?
Sometimes at the same time. Sometimes just the Kratom leaf in the morning at first, and then see
and
if,
later on,
then if I need the 7-OH, then I'll add that in kind of partially way through the day. But but 7-OH is definitely, I mean, 7.5 milligrams is super strong for me. So when I start seeing like 15, 20, 30 milligrams that people are coming out with, like, I don't know why. My first reaction would be, well, I don't think that's actually full 7-OH.
Yeah, I know it isn't.
Yeah,
most of the time it isn't.
Yeah, so like, and I don't think, based on the price point, it's like, well, but that's less expensive than the actual raw ingredients. Like, what are they actually putting in there? It's like, I'd be really skeptical of 7-OH in general, especially, see.
But go low. Go low. 7 milligrams, 7.5 milligrams is plenty for us, and we're seasoned Kratom users. So
I mean, I can easily use like a Superman 115 milligrams of mitragynine. I can use some pretty high amounts, and yet 7.5 milligrams 7-OH is still very noticeable, very, very impactful.
Yeah, I don't know how you do those Supermans. I can't. I've tried a couple times. I know people love it. It's a great product, but it doesn't work for me. Oh, it's too much for me.
Yeah. Individual results are different.
Yeah, exactly. We're all different. Diversity. Okay.
Next question. What are some popular Kratom drink form factors?
I don't remember. Yeah.
I mean, the most popular, it's been around for the longest time, is probably those super small concentrated extract shots.
Oh, I didn't even think about those. The little tincture things.
Yeah, so this is like a 10 milliliter, 15 milliliter. So it's basically like one sip. The whole entire bottle is maybe one full sip, but yet it's supposed to be at least 3 servings typically, if not more. I mean, so some of the small 15 milliliter shots that we've had at ETHA, it's about 125 milligrams for the bottle. And so I would take that in probably more like 5 doses or more, like a small, tiny little sip. I found that much more effective.
Yeah. I think of like the little coffee stir straws, like having to do that.
That'd be fun.
Delicious. I remember when we were first introduced to these years ago, and just going like, okay, and then like reading it later, going, what? Shoot, that was gonna be a fun day. And just being like, loopy, little like head high, body super warm, just uncomfortable. It wears away, it's fine, but it's not comfortable.
Yeah. So those are probably one of the most popular, been around for a long time. Concentrated extract shots. There's a lot of
these guys,
kava and kratom mixtures out there.
Yeah, like something like that.
Mm-hmm.
These are all not all ETHA stuff. We try lots of products. So, this is a shortbread kava kratom, which you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Made it locally here, Carlsbad. Yeah, that's a pretty popular one. Elixir, these shots are also very popular.
Smoothie shots, which are more of a full spectrum extract. So unlike the very small concentrated extract shots that are mostly a mitragynine kind of forward extract or a purified mitragynine, our chocolate hazelnut shots are much more in a full spectrum alkaloid extract. And for me, that kind of gives me a much better balance of some energy, a really nice mood boost. It's a little bit more muscle tension easement and kind of pain reduction with our elixir shots versus the kind of purified mitragynine extracts give me more just like an energy boost.
Yeah, like a big mood boost for me, these things. Yeah.
So those are probably the most common. We also do have, I've also seen a lot of extract single serving I guess beverages out there. So it's a lot of like carbonated canned beverages that use a kratom extract and then some flavors of water. Those are, I've never found one that I really like that much because it's like a full can serving. I'll drink it and I kind of feel maybe some kratom effect, but only if I take, say, like 2 servings of those or sometimes 3, then it's like, oh yeah, okay, this feels a little bit more like kratom. However, I really like our ETHA Refresh, which is a natural, full, just brewed kratom. So we use the leaf material, we brew it with water, a little bit of natural sweeteners, and then just some citric acid, kind of give it a nice, lemony flavor, some lemon, some dried lemon.
Yeah.
And so it's a very natural, holistic, kind of traditional way of consuming kratom. And for me, it's a small amount. We use, from our testing, it's about 23 to 35 milligrams of mitragynine in that full refresh bottle, which is kind of equates to 2 grams of kratom, and yet it's a very nice
different effect. Yeah.
Very clean, very pure, very noticeable, but also subtle. It's like, oh yeah, I just feel better from like half a bottle to a full bottle, and yet it's a great experience.
Yeah, no, but at least not that I know. I don't know if you've seen it. I haven't seen anyone else doing this where they're brewing actual kratom to make a beverage. Everything is extract based. Everything is most likely just a mitragynine extract.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's full spectrum ish. Yeah. But there's nothing like, so I take our refresh, or I'll just brew kratom leaves because we have it.
Yep.
So I'm spoiled to be able to make fresh kratom whenever I want. At home I actually use fresh leaves the weekend. I pick leaves from our kratom trees and make a cup. Totally different flavor profile. I don't know. I like it too. It's all good. Yeah, so those are the popular ones. Sorry I don't have a refresh to show. It's somewhere down here. I actually think we're sold out. It's so popular. It's hard for us to keep it in stock. So apologies, if you go on our website and try to look up refresh, it might be sold out. We'll get it back, don't worry.
Yeah, we're working hard.
Work on it.
Okay, we probably have time for one more question.
Okay.
Last question. Which fictional character should use kratom?
This was a fun one. I like this one. Because I just had fun. Like, all these are so serious. It's like, what's your dose, and with all this, and it's just like, finally a fun one. So I had a couple. I'll give you some time to think which fictional character. So I picked 3. So one was from Winnie the Pooh, Eeyore. He's always so sad.
Yeah,
but a little bit of kratom, you'd just be like, what's up, Pooh? How you doing?
But then you lose your character, right? Like, I don't know, like,
that's why still be down a little.
If you want your character, you want your character 100%.
Fine. Okay, all right. Okay.
I get the great.
Fine. Sorry, you get no kratom. All right, my second one is, I don't even know if you remember this. I was such a huge fan of the show, except for I didn't watch the last season, but House, remember that? The medical show? Dr. Gregory House. And if you remember, his whole thing was he had an injury, a leg injury, and he's super cranky all the time because he's in chronic pain.
Yeah.
And one of the pivotal things about the show was that he got addicted horribly to opioids, to Vicodin, and I think some other ones as well too. And he was just constantly battling his addiction, and it was getting in the way of his, the miraculous work he was doing to help heal people and stuff. So I thought, Kratom, But again, it goes back to he won't be so cranky, and the show kind of suck.
Oh, right.
Right.
So yeah, so you're gonna like lose all the fun. Like, oh, well, now he's just like.
Just a nice doctor, helping
Mm.
people. Yeah. I want to be an asshole. That's what I want. All right, and then my last one, because I always make Lord of the Rings references, Frodo Baggins, when he was carrying the ring. Remember, it just was like, it's just like burning into his soul, and he's just like, the whole time. Right? He would have got through that journey. He wouldn't even need Sam anymore. That guy was so annoying. He would just go.
I don't know. See, like, I mean, if I'm looking at like characters, I would rather see like the Hulk or like Bane, like just amped up on Kratom. Like, okay, what can they do now with like even more, right? It's like,
zero pain.
So like, so you have like Bane like cranking up whatever that like plant-based toxin was that like turned him into that super cleanser.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I can put Kratom on top of that now.
What was that?
I don't know.
They made her something.
It was something that Poison Ivy, I thought, controlled, right? That she made some kind of like juice, or like, at least that's what it was in some of the cartoon versions.
Yeah. By the way, if you're not into comics, the reason why it's because within comics themselves, there's never consistency in stories. There's like 20 Batman origin stories and like 50 Spider-Man variants and stuff, so it's like, who knows? There's probably a version where, it's just pure like testosterone, he's just pumping it through, who knows?
Yeah, so I would like to see that. I like to see Bane, who is kind of this creature that can basically turn a dial and get juiced up with some of this like plant venom that turns him into like this super creature.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, okay, if you add Kratom into that, would he become like even more
Less evil?
I don't know, yeah. Would he be like less
Right.
evil and more like being able to help? Because he is kind of like a normal person that kind of gets amped up on this.
Yeah.
Kind of gets controlled by Poison Ivy and some of the
Yeah.
like, cartoons. I know the Hulk is kind of the same way.
Yeah.
Where, like the Hulk kind of like just like chilling out just enough that
Yeah,
he's
right.
like super nice.
You
and
don't
become,
want to
like,
see me peeved,
Yeah.
not
Maybe
angry.
maybe more of like the Avenger Hulk and helping out versus
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah,
less of like the angry, just
Smart
mean.
Hulk.
Yeah. It'd be kind of fun to see like those characters and what they would do.
Would he be more green? Huh? Green? That would be interesting. That's a good one. Any more? This is a great question, by the way. More of these kind of questions, please, guys. Don't have to be so serious all the time. All right. That
I
good?
think that's it, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, if you guys found this insightful at all, please support the show by shopping at ethanaturals.com for all your Kratom needs. We also have Kava and Tomcat, as we mentioned before. Please submit questions anywhere you can find us on social media, live whenever we're live on YouTube, or on our YouTube channel as well too, or send it to podcast@ethanaturals.com. Like I said, we do track them all, and then we have this long list. I probably got through not even half today. There's bunch of questions, but we really do appreciate it. It makes it lots of fun and a lot easier for us to do this podcast. All right, guys, we'll leave it there. And by the way, we always have a discount tied to the show, so go in the description, you'll see it there. And hope you enjoyed yourself. Until next time, I'm Victor.
I'm Alexander.
And I'm Nicole.
And as always,
Live
fully. Woo. Bane gets like all, like, kind of loses his mind when he gets like